It was my birthday recently, so today I'm going to share with you 27 things, 27 lessons that I have learned by 27. Some of the things that I'm about to share with you are very interesting facts about how the mind works, how we function, things that I have learned throughout my studies, which have literally rewired my brain to think differently. But most of the things that I'm going to share with you are things that I had to learn the hard way, things that life basically slapped me in the face with. So whether you're in your earlier 20s, whether you're still a teenager, or even if you're older than me, I know that the things that I'm about to share are going to be so valuable for you, so you don't have to learn them the hard way like I did. This is also my second time filming this video. I filmed it last week, but when I went into editing, I realized that this mic was not properly plugged in. So here we are for round 2. Make sure that you have your drinks at hand, your water to stay hydrated. Today I have my decaf latte here with me. Make yourselves cozy, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Before we dive in though, if this is your first time here on my channel, please allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is Irene. I'm a mindful growth coach, creator, and positive psychologist, and also now yoga and somatics teacher in training. How cool! I've also been journaling for almost 20 years, and here on this channel we talk about all things mindful self-development, journaling, self-discipline, self-care, and a lot more. So if that is your vibe, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss any future videos. And if you want more resources to help you grow more mindfully, check out the Happiness Diaries Journal, my Instagram, as well as our journaling and community events over at Waves of Thoughts. And with that, let's get into 27 lessons by 27. Number 1, winners lose more than losers ever will, just because winners are willing to risk more. They're willing to get embarrassed more. They're willing to get out of their comfort zones more. But I can assure you, literally every single successful person that you admire, they got there through repeated failure, uncertainty, setbacks, challenges. The difference is they did not let those things stop them. They kept moving anyway. What happened to you wasn't your fault, but as an adult, it becomes our responsibility to heal and to move past those things. And I know that that's not easy and that's not a fair thing, but staying in pain just because it is familiar, it's just going to keep you stuck there, and it's going to keep the loop repeating. One of my all-time favorite quotes is, "Nothing changes if nothing changes." And you have the power to heal, to change, and to completely improve your life. You don't have to pick an extreme. Hustle culture leads to overwhelm, comparison, burnout. But on the other hand, romanticizing the soft life feels like you're stagnating and like you're making no progress on your goals. So the best approach that I found lies somewhere in the middle. This is what I call mindful growth, and this is why I talk so much about it. Because what I've come to realize is that you can be soft and ambitious at the same time. And learning how to balance action and rest is literally one of the best things that you can do. Women do not function on 24-hour cycles like men do. We actually function in 28-day hormonal cycles that impact literally everything in our lives. From our energy, our mood, our appetite, our motivation, even our emotions. Throughout the month, they fluctuate a lot more. And yet, most productivity and wellness related advice and tools and practices, they've all been created around the male patterns. So if you're a girl and you're watching this, I'm telling you right now, learn how to work with your cycle. Learn how to work with and not against yourself. Learn how to work with your body instead of constantly trying to fight it. The next one was a hard one to learn, but forgiveness is not something that you actually give to other people. It is something that you offer to yourself. Because resentment, it's only going to keep you emotionally tied to whatever situation, person, or circumstance that hurt you. And forgiveness, it doesn't mean that whatever happened was okay and that you're going to allow it to repeat itself. What it means is that you no longer allow it to control you and to affect your inner peace. Busy does not equal progress. I swear, you can spend the whole day answering emails, organizing your inbox, color coordinating your calendars, creating more plans, creating more Notion templates. I know that. I've been there. And you can literally spend your whole time doing all of these tasks and still avoid the one thing that's actually going to help you move forward. These tasks are what we call needle movers. And needle movers are, of course, very uncomfortable. Otherwise, we would, of course, already be doing them. So we procrastinate on these tasks, but it's funny because these are the steps that are actually going to help us move forward and actually bring us the results that we want. Don't make assumptions, ask questions. Every single person sees the world differently. They they see the world through their own lens, which is of course just a result of their own past experiences, belief systems, wounds. And I've come to realize that half of the misunderstandings that we have in relationships, in friendships, even at work, they come from us assuming that the other person meant something that they actually never meant. So my advice is for you to always ask more questions just to make sure that you actually fully understand what the other person is trying to tell you, or the reasons behind why someone did something. And this way you won't just make assumptions and create a narrative in your mind that doesn't even represent what's actually happening in reality. If you're the smartest, most knowledgeable, most successful person in the room, you're in the wrong room. The rooms that you're in will either shrink or expand you, because your environment literally determines your standards. When you're surrounded by people who play small, your dreams are going to feel unrealistic. You're going to get criticism, you're going to get doubts, you're going to get worries. But when you're surrounded by people who actually get it, by people who are just as ambitious as you, if not more, by people who are very like-minded, and by people who also don't flinch at the big dreams that you have, then success stops feeling so dramatic, it becomes normal. Your environment impacts literally everything. Your habits, your mindset, your patterns, your identity, even more than you realize. This was a complete game changer for me because I always felt quite alone in my own ambitions. Like, people around me didn't fully understand what I was trying to do. And this is why community matters literally so much to me. This is why I even created our Mindful Go-Getters Club, because I get what it means to feel alone in your ambitions. So always try to surround yourself by people who expand you, that inspire you, and people that you can learn more from. If you're having a hard time finding these kind of people in person around you, you still can curate your own environment. You can decide who you follow on social media. You can decide what kind of books you want to read. You can decide to join online spaces such as our club or our journal cafe events. There are always ways to curate your environments. Following up from this one, stop taking advice from people who are not living the life that you actually want to live. If I had listened to every single person that either shed doubt or that told me not to move abroad, don't start posting online, what are you doing? Just get a normal job. What do you mean you're starting an online business? If I had listened to any of those people, I would not be here today sharing all of these lessons with you. People are going to project their fears onto you literally all the time. So it's up to you to decide who you actually want to listen to. Mindset is not enough. I spent almost the last decade studying, researching, working up here with the mind. And what I've realized is that mindset is just not enough. You can repeat your affirmations all day long, but if your body, if your nervous system is dysregulated, if you're not feeling safe, your body is going to continue acting accordingly. One really cool fact that I learned is that whenever we have an experience, the beliefs and the memories associated with that experience, they get stored in our minds. But the sensory inputs, the feelings of that experience, they get stored in the body, which means that the body keeps the score and it remembers things that your mind has been trying to forget. So if you're only trying to process whatever happened and thinking differently up here in your mind, and you're forgetting about regulating and about processing feeling in the body as well, you're going to stay stuck. You can't really outthink anxiety. And one extra thing I will tell you is that overthinking means that you're underfeeling. Sleeping isn't the only way to rest. There are actually 7 pillars of rest/self-care. We have active and passive physical rest, mental, emotional, social, creative, and spiritual as well. So if you've been taking action and feeling tired, you need to learn how to rest. But if you've been taking action, you're resting, and you're still feeling tired, then you need to learn multi-dimensional rest. Stress is not the badge of honor that you think it is. Being overwhelmed all the time and being literally on your limit all the time, it does not make you more valuable, more successful, or more deserving. I used to think that if I was working hard, then surely the results, they had to follow, right? But I realized that that's not really how things work. The input and the effort that you put in, it doesn't necessarily always correlate with the results that you're going to get. And just because you can keep going even when you're already exhausted and your body is giving you the signals that you need to chill, it doesn't mean that you should continue pushing, and it doesn't also mean that you have to continue living this way forever. Another beautiful one. Waking up in the middle of the night with an anxiety attack is not normal. Same goes for constantly struggling to fall asleep, or also just waking up in the middle of the night in general and feeling like your mind won't shut up and you're thinking about literally everything else that you need to do the next day and the upcoming days and all the things that you want to do. This is not normal. Your nervous system, it was not designed to operate in this survival mode 24/7. And also, if you notice, even feelings of guilt or feelings that I actually can stop, I shouldn't stop, I need to keep going, this is literally a sign that you need to reteach safety to yourself and within your body. 5 minutes of messy action messy, will literally do more for you and it will literally take you further than hours and days and weeks of thinking, planning, and talking about it ever will. Clarity and confidence literally only come from you taking the action, not from another vision board, not from another plan, not from waiting to feel ready, not from watching 20 more motivational reels. I've noticed that the reason why most people end up feeling stuck, and I've noticed this all the time, even with new clients, people that I start working with, the reason is because they keep on waiting to feel ready. But the thing is, feeling ready is actually not a feeling. It's a decision to move forward, even if the step that you need to take next feels scary and it feels uncomfortable. Before optimizing or improving your life, you first need to build strong foundations. So this goes for health in terms of sleep, hydration, nutrition, movement, sunlight, but this also goes for your business. So if you're trying to build something, you first need to build the foundations, the trust, the value, the identity. People absolutely love quick improvement hacks, but if you only focus on these kind of hacks, the moment that there's a challenge, everything will crumble, everything will fall. Next one, very interesting, because I literally had this quote on my letterboard for I think years, and now I completely see it differently. So the quote goes, "You are the greatest project that you will ever work on." And don't get me wrong, I'm obviously all about the improvement and the growth, and I think that is something beautiful that should be part of everyone's life, but constantly treating yourself like something that needs to be fixed is absolutely exhausting. You are allowed to grow and love yourself through the process at the same time. So no, you are not a project. You are a being having a human experience. Happiness is not an emotion. Did you know that there are actually two different types of happiness? Number one, hedonic happiness. And this is that shorter term experience of happiness, the one that we actually qualify as an emotion. So pleasure, joy, excitement. On the other hand, we have eudaimonic happiness. And this is that longer term happiness, which comes from commitment, fulfillment, meaning, purpose, contribution, and generally becoming the best person that you possibly can be. So one feels good temporarily, the other one feels deeply fulfilling. We actually need both. On that note, you should not force yourself to be positive 24/7 because obviously hard emotions, they're just parts of life. And actually in positive psychology, we have this term called hemodiversity, which means that emotionally healthy people actually experience a wide range of emotions, not just the positive ones. And also as an extra bonus one, there's actually no good or bad emotions. All emotions literally tell you something. Once again, it's about listening. Consistency is not built through these all or nothing daily challenges or intense one-off crazy shifts. It is built through showing up through tiny steps, small habits that add up, and also through returning after bad days, instead of completely falling into shame spirals and just fully quitting. If it is your calling, it will keep calling. There's this beautiful idea from a book that I've read called Big Magic that says that creativity, it moves through people. So basically, ideas are just floating all around us and they're looking to pick the right person that's actually going to bring them into tangible form. And if an idea keeps knocking and you ignore it for a little too long, what might happen is that the idea is just going to decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to move and I'm going to pick another person, someone that can actually act on this. But again, if the idea just keeps on calling, that almost means like you're the responsible person to bring this idea to life. I can tell you that I experienced this so intensely with some of my biggest creations. For example, for the Happiness Diaries journal, I was literally thinking about this idea for 5 years, postponing it, feeling so frustrated also with myself throughout the whole process because obviously it was something that mattered so much to me, but it lived so much up here. And of course, going from the thinking into the action is very, very challenging. But hey, today, here we are. The Happiness Diaries journal is something that actually exists, not just in my mind, but out into the world. Building self-trust is how you get your power back. And self-trust is built through small promises, through you keeping your word to yourself, through you actually doing the thing that you said you would, even if no one else is watching, and even if you still don't see any results. The grass is not greener on the other side. It is actually greener wherever you water it. Speaking of, comparison literally makes you abandon your own life while you're obsessing over someone else's highlight reels that aren't even real. So instead of being paralyzed by the thought of constantly thinking maybe there's something better out there elsewhere, ask yourself, have I actually nurtured what I already have? Because the thing is, you cannot get more if you're not already grateful for what you do already have. How you do one thing is how you do everything else. And that's why all the small choices that you make matter, because they actually reinforce your identity. Because the thing is, if you can't keep to yourself small, tiny promises, such as, today I'm gonna go to the gym, how do you expect yourself to show up when things get harder? How do you expect yourself to show up for bigger things, for these bigger goals that you have? You are what you consume, and not just in terms of food, but also your following list, the music, podcasts, shows, content, environment, the people that you have around you. Literally all of this impacts your life and you more than you might realize. So always protect your mind and your inner peace. Next one is for my hashtag Miss Independent girlies. You need to stop romanticizing hyper-independence, because healing and growth, they're not things that you're just meant to carry on your own. Asking for help is not a weakness. As human beings, we are literally wired for connection, for a sense of belonging, for community. So reach out to a friend, go to therapy, sign up for coaching, join groups of like-minded people. You do not have to carry all of your struggles, and even on the other hand, all of your ambitions alone. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. You've probably heard the quote, energy flows where attention goes. And when you constantly think about the things that you're trying to avoid, what ends up happening is you actually end up reinforcing that thing to happen in your life, because you're keeping it so present, so in the loop in your mind, and then it will happen in your reality through this thing that we call confirmation bias. So decide what you actually want and let that guide your actions, your thoughts, your decisions. And lastly, self-sabotage often feels like safety in disguise. It shows up through perfectionism, procrastination, overthinking, waiting for the right moment. And what I want you to know is that there's actually nothing wrong with you if you encounter these experiences often. Because our brains, they are literally wired to protect us by keeping us safe, aka through sabotaging actions that would actually benefit us. So familiar isn't necessarily good. It's just comfortable. And on the other hand, just because something feels scary, that doesn't mean that you don't have the skills and the capacity to actually do the thing. It just means that it is something new and therefore something unfamiliar. It's actually funny to me because when I decided I wanted to film this video, I was so unsure of what should I even mention. But then I started journaling on this list and literally everything started pouring. And the challenge was actually picking only 27 things to actually share. Plus, I know that by the time I turn 30 and I look back on this video, I'm gonna realize that there's so many things that I still don't know. But you know, that is the beauty of life. We keep on growing, we keep on learning, we keep on moving. And if even just one of these lessons that I've shared with you has helped you see things a little bit differently, then this video did its job. And I would actually love to know which of these lessons hit you the hardest, so drop it in the comments down below. That's about it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one.